All right, today I'm going to replace the water heater in my V-Cross Platinum. All right, let me show you what was wrong. You'll notice there's the heat shield and baffle is missing. I've already taken it out. Let me see if I can turn the light on with this. You see how rusted that is? When this thing burns, the seams expand and they start leaking in this burn chamber. Water leak. And you'll notice the water leak flows right out of the bottom and right off of this bolt and onto here. So if you have the same problem, your solution is to replace your water heater. There is no fix for this. Not the one I'm aware of anyway. So that's what we're going to be doing. This is a Suburban water heater. It is a SW6 Delta Echo. That's a SW6DE. Step 1, make sure your gas is off. Step 2 will take place inside your camper. Find your power distribution panel and turn off your water heater's circuit breaker. That says water heater. I don't know who wrote that, but I'd like to slap them. No, I'm just kidding. I'm peaceful. Next step, make sure your water heater switch is off at your control center. At this point, you'll need to gain access to your water heater. Now, your water heater can be in various places throughout campers, depending on what make and model of camper you have. This is the front storage of my fifth wheel. I'll show you. This is my front storage, or my pass-through storage. My front storage is where my chairs are. My water heater is behind this wall, so we got to get to it. All right, the water heater should look something like this. This is a 6-gallon. I think it's probably the most popular size. You have a electrical junction box, connection box there. And that is a power cord coming out of it, going over to a receptacle. It needs to be unplugged. You can see here that this one is already unplugged. I've unplugged it. That would be your next step, unplug that. The next thing you need to do is bypass your water heater. Mine is simple. I only have one valve that I have to manipulate to do that. Hot water bypass valve. If you don't have a single valve like this, you may have 3 valves, and they may be located at the rear of your water heater. So you'll have to manipulate those valves. All right, the next thing we're going to do is remove the gas line. All right, once you have that hose or pipe, it's actually a pipe. Once you have it loose, push it back in there. Now we need to drain the water heater using this plug, and this is going to be able to use a 27mm socket to get that off. So we're going to take that out and drain the water heater. When you do this, watch your feet. All right, got the water lines disconnected. Got the control box disconnected, which was mounted to the roof. And I've got the receptacle unplugged. All right, so the next thing I want to do is going to take this screw here loose. This one, which is just like this one. And this one here to release the front ring. So I take the front ring off. All right, got the screws loose. Close the door. Well, sorry, not close the door. Then I need to cut into this caulking so that it'll come off. The door will come with it. So cut into the caulking with the razor blade. All right, now we're going to take the screws out all the way around. All right, pulled the cover off. It's a little sticky, so I had to use a screwdriver to get back behind it to do it. All right, show you this. See how these are a little bit flared out? So I had to grab it with a pair of channel locks, pull it out. Now you can see it is part way out. All right, I've got the water heater part way out. You can see there. There was some goo there holding that gas line in. Had to push through it. And now there are some wires I do need to disconnect. And I need to locate which wires I do need to disconnect. We know it's not these. These go to the controller. So we need to figure out of these three, if it isn't all three, which need to be disconnected. Okay, so this blue, green, and black wire need to be cut. I will cut them on the water heater side of the splice. Probably not going to be able to see that with that hose in the way, but that's the way it goes sometimes. So I'll just cut those. And not all at the same time, just one at a time, because there is probably no voltage since we cut the disconnect, but it never hurts to be safe. All right, back outside. All right, I am going to keep this receptacle, so I am going to take it off of this water heater, or receptacle plug. So I'll take it off of this one. There you go, got that. Next thing I need to do is I need to take this, because I got to keep this connection. All right, and got that. Got the gas thermostat. Got the valve assembly. Got the igniter. And I got the heating element. And here's the control board. Also have it. So there you go. Salvage all the fellable parts to be replaced if necessary. Save yourself some money. All right, before we continue, let's clean our area. There's part number. There's the packing label. Right there. You can take a screenshot of that. And if you need anything, take a screenshot of that, read it, and go from there. All right, here's the new water heater. Has the 110 wires here. Has the 3 control wires here, same color as the original. Here the igniter controller, water heater controller is already connected, both connections. It's got the opening for the hot and the cold water. I have to put my connection for my hot on in advance. I'll put that on in a minute. I'll tie in my extension cord so that I can plug it into the receptacle here. And once we get it installed, we'll have to make the gas connection here. All right, and that'll pretty much be it. All right. Now we need to clean all this up before we put the new one in. I'll do that next. All right, first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to put this in for the hot water. And I'm going to use some pipe joint compound on the threads. All right, let me do that. All right, got the pipe on. Moving to the 110 power for the heating element. I'm going to show you this. Take a screenshot just in case you need troubleshooting help. That's how it's set up. All right, this comes with a protector for the wires on the metal. I'm just going to try to pull it right out. It's supposed to be able to press it, but there we go. I don't need this. I'm going to use the one that was on the other one. It's a little bit better, I think. So I'm going to stick it in there, stick the wires in there, and then just push it in, and then that's what we got. So now I'll connect my ground to the screw, connect my wires, black to black, white to white. Got my ground connected. Got my wire spliced. This is heat shrink splices. So I just gotta put some heat on that, shrink that up. There you go, got that done. All right, tools I used: strippers, crimp tool. In addition to the 110, I also went ahead and put a butt splice on these wires. That way I only have to do one side of it while I'm crawled up in a confined space. So did that in prep. Also in prep, I'm going to remove the control board so it's just the wires. And then we're going to start sliding this in. I'm going to have to plug this back up, and rather than guess which way I'm supposed to put the connector because it only goes on one way, I marked the control box in advance. Proper planning. Alright, I've got it partway inserted. Until now, I've not tried to put any of my wires or cables in. And so we'll go ahead and try to do that now. So I want to feed this 110 straight back in there as best I can. Alright, I want these wires I want these top wires going in, and actually on this corner, and I want this igniter pushed in here at the bottom. Alright, so I'll push this in and then I'll finish sliding the water heater in. Alright, there is a frame that circles around the rear of your water heater. That frame is set in there so that the water heater you took out is square with the wall here. It does not mean that the one you put in is going to fit that frame. So you may have to relocate that frame in the back. Just a side note to that. You do have to reuse your flange in your door, just FYI. Get this squared up, and then I'm going to try to get my gas hooked up first. Alright, got it connected, got it tightened down. Use the wrench to hold here while I tighten this down, that way I didn't break or crack this. Also, before I put this in, I took the grommet out. Now I'm going to put the grommet back in. Fill this hole. You can see it's got a slit cut in it to facilitate that. So I'm going to put this back in and we'll straighten it out. Alright, I got it pushed in. I'm pretty flush all the way around. Alright, now we're going to clean my door frame off. Still got some caulking on my door frame. Right there. And clean all that off, apply new caulking, and then put the door frame back on. Alright, put some caulking back behind there. I used window glazing. And I've got it secured with the bolts. Now I need to secure the frame to the water heater, and that will be with these 3 bolts. The one that goes right there where that hole is, right there. After I do that, I need to caulk this screw where it contacts the water heater. Just like this one, I have to contact that one here. I haven't tightened this up, I just kind of got it started. And I will need to I will need to caulk this grommet, fully sealing in this gas valve line, or sorry, this gas line. All right, so almost done with the exterior. We'll finish that up tomorrow. The rest of it, right now, I just needed a hole sealed up before the night came along. So now that I'm here at the back, I've got to re-secure the frame that I took loose. Holds the water heater still from moving around. Before I do that, I'll connect the water line. I'll also reconnect the hot water to this, and then I'll have to plug in the 110. I have to connect my igniter to the controller, and I'll have to connect the control wires to the controller, and then I'll have to splice my blue, green, and red wire to the other control wires. All right, so we'll do all of those. I'm going to put some pipe dope on the threads first before I install them. So let's install this. All right, got that connected. Now let's connect the hot. Connected the hot. Now let's secure the frame. Frame is secured. Next, we'll prep these wires so that we can connect those. So it'll be brown to red, as you can see, blue to blue, and green to green. All right, now we'll make these connections. Those are connected. And now we'll move on to mounting our controller and connecting it. All right, got the controller mounted and connected. Move it on to the 110 receptacle. All right, that's done. All right, come back around to the front of the water heater, and I'll make sure that the electric switch is in the off position. And then I'll put the tape back in place and I'll leave it. Make sure my water heater switch is still off. Turn on my water heater circuit breaker. Make sure it doesn't trip. That's good. Take my water heater out of the bypass and put it into the normal position. And then we'll connect some water. You may have 3 valves to operate. I only have 1. All right. Got my water connected. All right, I applied the water to the water heater, filled it up, and I'm checking it for leaks. And as of now, I've got no leaks. I did have to add some Teflon tape to my connections. Started her up with gas, fired right up, no problems. When it got plenty warm, I went around to the back and made sure there was still no leaks under heat. All right, guys, that's the way I did it. Like and subscribe. All right.